Welcome, Don. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you so much, Sarah, for having me today.
Well, thank you for joining me on this glorious Saturday morning in Dubai. Welcome to Provocateurs.
It's very nice to be with Provocateurs and Happy New Year to you. And I
Happy New
wish you a
Year.
very beautiful 2026.
Going to be amazing. And so, Don, you were described as a technology titan. Tell me, what is your career involved? Because you haven't just worked in technology, but you're also now a globally recognized speaker and you speak all over the world. So tell us about your career.
It can take some time, but I will try to simplify that because it's important also to give you my background as a career. When I finished college, I was doing sports and I was doing something else completely different than the career I went to. And I decided to try technology and I joined a company called IBM, right? It was a complete coincidence to join as an intern. In the beginning, I joined as a collector, which is a very interesting story to know as well. And collector means like you collect the bad debts for the customers that they're not paying. So they buy the solution, for example, and they don't pay, right? So they have like bad debts and stuff. So they need the collectors to go and collect the money. So it's nothing to do with technology itself, right? And I joined that after 2 months. The regional director at that time, he called me to his office and he said like, okay, customers are paying. There is no blood in their face, right? So obviously doing something right. And I'm getting phone calls from the customers that they want to work with you. So do you want to join sales? That was exactly the first starting point of my whole career, right? And then I went from there to real salesperson in IBM. I took all the sales college schools and so on and moved forward. Um, Sales rep, sales executive, and so on. And then I was actually headhunted by Microsoft, which is a blessing for myself for sure. Another tycoon, let's say, in technology, which I was very happy with. I went there again into the sales organization, moving through different roles, sales manager, and so on. And then another step, which again, another blessing in my life, I got headhunted again to join Cisco Systems, right? So another tycoon as
Massive big
well.
names, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, that's why I'm always saying I'm blessed because a lot of people they live their whole life and they try to pass by these companies, and I literally worked for all of them, right? And I was definitely that's why I'm always saying it's a blessing. When I went to Cisco, I went also different roles, director level and so on, managing a lot of regions, and then the cloud transformation came into the picture, right? Then Microsoft they asked me to come back actually, which I think one of the best things that happened. So that when you feel that they're asking you to go back, that's a big thing, right? It's not a small thing with that name. So definitely, I mentioned yes for sure, 100%. I'm going backwards to go to Microsoft and lead the cloud transformation business across the region. And it was a very interesting time because it was a big change in technology time. All of that was the American side. Then in end of 2014, I got a very interesting opportunity with the Chinese tycoon, which is Huawei, right? And that was not an easy step for me to take a decision to join them because it's a big change. I never been there and so on. However, the very close people to myself, they said, definitely have to do it because you're not losing anything. You can still come back to the American side of the story and so on. I learned a lot with them. I went to definitely Huawei. And it was a huge change from culture, from background, from the way they do business, from operation, policies, compliances. It's a very different animal, as we call it. But again, full fledged in technology, full ICT, passive network, active network, smart technologies, and so on. And then after that, it was really hard time, I would say, because it's a different atmosphere, different challenges. And then I joined real estate, right? So that was another step in my life as well. Um, I had a call from the Mac, and I'm sure everybody lives in Dubai. They know what the Mac is. It's number one private kind of developer, global actually right now. And they asked me to run the business also to be a president of international business, right? So it's a big title, very big business. And with that, I opened the China market and the Russia market. And that was big challenge as well in real estate. The time was not the best time in real estate at that time. Right? It's 2017. If you remember these days, it was not the best like now and all the peak and stuff. However, I did great. I learned a lot. I found out that this business actually, I don't want to say easy, but it's simple, right? It's not that complicated, right? It's not like selling solution or presenting a technology thing. I know it has its own challenges for sure, but I learned it so fast. It's not that complicated at all, and I enjoyed it a lot as well, to be honest. However, I didn't feel it's my field, right? I feel real estate in general, you can do it as a side job, not as a main job. And I don't want to offend anyone, but this is how I feel about it, coming from a very complex environment. So I went back to technology again and again to the American side of the story. And this is the company I'm working for right now, which is Jagger. And Jagger is an e-procurement platform. It's a SaaS company, American organization based out of North Carolina. And I'm there for 7 years right now,
Wow.
right? So running Middle East and Africa and Asia Pacific. So you're talking about from Australia, New Zealand, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, to the whole Gulf region and Turkey and the whole North Africa, the whole Africa till South Africa and so on. So quite a tough region. On map, it's like half of the world, right? But definitely you cannot run all the company, all the countries in that perspective. But it's a big role. I love it. I'm running the office. Our office is actually very close here in Media City, and we report to the head office in North Carolina in the States. But it's beautiful. I like that a lot. At the same time, I'm the GM of the Dubai office as well as the GM of the Saudi office. So we opened also Saudi to expand for the business because there's a lot of potential, as you can imagine that. So I think this is kind of the history in a way, right? So this is on the corporate side. That was the blessing side, as I mentioned to you in the beginning, about being in all these corporates and all the big names. I'm really, really blessed with that. The amount of learning, Sarah, is unbelievable, right? You cannot even imagine how you go step by step and how they believe in your capability and so on. And this is where it will take me to the next one that I will talk to you about, because since I joined in the sales field, because kind of my DNA, obviously, right? I started being on stage as well, right? So they started putting me on stage and speaking in front of people and so on, based on many things, right? So the size, let's say, the height, the looks, the voice, and the charisma, and all of these things, which is pure characteristics for someone to be on stage. So I learned it a lot in a very deep way. I took it from the first step. And at the same time, the number of countries that I managed is over 138 countries globally through all these organizations, over 3,000 people. So it's a big, big journey, right? So you learn a lot on that. At the same time, I found out that basically through this career, it's kind of leadership is the passion at the end. And when you are in big organizations like that, they invest in that. When they see the potential in someone about being a leader, and it's very clear, right? They start investing in education, in courses, and development areas and stuff like that, which is amazing. And you don't have this opportunity somewhere else. So it went very deep for me, including the mentoring, the coaching, and so on, because these are kind of official programs that runs through the corporates, even right now, the same I'm doing in Jagger. And this is where I found that this is my kind of, how can I say, my freedom point, let's say, because I love to be on stage. I like to speak to people. I like to share knowledge, transfer knowledge to people, educate, teach, mentor, coach, give some tips, tricks of how to do business and so on, which includes all the top from leadership to sales and so on, because it's all connected at the end. And this is where the idea came to my mind a long time ago, to be honest, to open my own thing. But it was always struggling in my mind because of the time. It's very hard to manage at the same time. But I took a decision, and it was a very right decision to open it finally and make sure that this is running. And this is where the Dawn Consult came in place. And based on that, so I'm the product, basically, let's say, right? So we're not selling any kind of product. We're not selling service and stuff like that. Basically, I'm the product. And the idea for it is to open the international speaking to be more wide, right? So not only on the corporate, but on the entrepreneurial side, because I'm considered as a global entrepreneur. At the same time, on the negotiation side, which is very deep also, part of my life. And in the beginning, I thought it's something you don't need to study. But at the same time, after going very high on the leadership, I found that no, it's not only the natural negotiation skills that you need to keep, but also you need to adapt and you need to develop the negotiation to be on a top elite kind of level. And this is where I took my certification as well from the CNU and it was trained by the FBI hostage negotiators,
Oh,
ex-hostage negotiators,
wow.
which is very deep, very, very deep. And it's beautiful experience that I cannot even share anything about it, but it's really beautiful because it opened your eyes to something completely different. People doesn't know, and again, it's another privilege for sure to have this kind of certification and to be ready to negotiate on that level. And it's have a lot of different tactics, different ways of doing things. At the same time, I opened my own channel, which is the eStocks business, which for sure I'll invite you soon to do that so I can return the
Great.
favor 100%, which is working also very, very good. And the way we defined it as eStocks business is not about the Middle East. It's more about the East in general, right? So the name coming from Middle East as well, Eastern Europe, East Africa, East Asia, East Coast in the US.
Mhm.
That's why the name is. And business or talks business basically because we want to talk about business. And here I don't mean that we talk about the details of the business, but it's more about sharing vision, mission, values from C level,
Mm.
what they do, what they learn, how to help people, how to support people, how to guide people, how to inform people about something that they're missing. And I think you know a lot about it already because you're watching some of it, but that was the concept of it. At the same time, I do advisory for sure because based on all this uh, long journey, I would say, I've been advisor as well on different companies, different organizations. At the same time, I created something called the C-Level Transformation Program, which is basically, okay, CEOs right now are not the CEOs like before, correct? When I reach the CEO level or the C-level in general, it's a long journey that I just shared with
Yeah.
you. Now, some people, they just open a small shop and they call themselves CEOs, right? With all respect for sure, but it's not that easy. It's something you need to learn, it's something you need to develop. It's a big skill. You're running an organization. It's not as simple as people think. So based on this experience as well, I created some kind of a program that you talk to the CEOs one-to-one and develop their skills and help them to grow and so on. So that's in a nutshell. I tried to make it summarized.
Do you
I know
sleep?
no, no. And that's another topic because I travel so much as well. So my life is really in different hotel rooms, I would say, and different planes all the time, which hurts two things: no sleeping and my back for sure, because
Yeah.
that's two things that's really suffering. But you know what? I think when you're blessed with all these things and you're still as a man in your peak,
Mhm.
you need to use that.
Agreed.
You need to leverage that because I would consider that um, when you're in 20s, for example, your early stage, you feel that you own the world, which is completely not real, right? So you start growing step by step. And then you develop either you have a family or not, and so on. And then you go to the 30s and you believe, okay, now it's okay. Now I'm 100% mature. Totally not true. Actually, the transformation for a man, I'm talking about men right now, from 30 to 40 is finding the way. Let's say you go ups and downs, you struggle. I'm talking about real men who really work hard.
Mhm.
So they go through tough times and good times and so on until they find a way after the 40 hits. Okay, this is really what I want to do. They have more clarity, a little bit of wisdom, not fully, but a little bit of wisdom. And then, yes, by mid 40s and late 40s, you start really, okay, now mature. This is the peak. And I consider this age until the 60, I would say, is the time that man can get pay off again, right? So life pay you off, right? It's pay you back. It give you
I
more
mean,
money.
Napoleon Hill even talks about that in Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And it's like, it's a great reward of your hard work. And again, I'm talking about people who really work hard, not people who wake up and think the world will pass them everything, right? It doesn't work. I don't say that manifestation is not good. It's okay, right? You can manifest, you can dream about money, but you have to work for it.
Of
It
course.
will not fly, okay? That's not a real thing.
And would you say this is maybe a downside of the next generation, thinking that things are just going to come to them?
Absolutely. And I think I don't want to get anything against the Gen Z, but they think things are much easier. They want to work shorter times. They want to hit and run. And this sometimes works by luck, sometimes works by a smart idea, but it doesn't last.
Mhm.
And at the same time, if you don't work hard for something, you will lose it very fast. And this is reality in anything, by the way, in business, in money, in relationships, and so on. It's an effort, it's an investment, right? If you invest in something, even in shares, if it doesn't grow, nothing will happen, correct? You'll lose money. And it goes very high very quickly, it goes down again very quickly. So I think, yeah, the new generation are not really into the hardworking environment. But I believe as well because of what's happening around us, right? The AI is coming very, very, very fast. It's re-penetrating our lives very deep. Social media is another animal, we don't want to talk about it, but it gives the impression and the perception that life is easier. And the reality is that that's not actually true. Because life is about people, it's not about social media. And whatever we do on social media, everything, if we don't still connect in real life, nothing will move. Correct? And then we have the story itself, right? So, yes, social media is kind of give you more information. It depends on how you absorb this information, let's say. You have to filter. You have to be clear about your information that you really were looking for because most of it is not actually real. Most of it is fake as well. So that impacts the new generation because they think everything is that way, is that direction. Everything you can just click and make it happen. And that's not reality. I believe they're very lucky because they have access to all these tools, right? And the same for the AI. But again, as I mentioned all the time, if you don't use it to your benefit and you don't understand how can you leverage that to your direction or your strategy or your vision as well, you'll actually lose at the end because life is very fast. It's not slow and it's not slowing down. And if you continue running only without direction, you'll not end up anywhere. And the difference between, let's say, my generation and the new generation is that we are used to work hard as a mindset, correct? But with all honesty, this is success. Success is about working hard because you have a plan, you fail, and then you succeed, and then you fail again, and then you succeed until you continue succeeding because you'll be more consistent, more resilient, someone who cannot be beaten at the end. But if you open a business online, for example, as a new generation, and it drops, you will get a shock in your mind because, okay, what did I do wrong? Well, you didn't do something right as well. You didn't study, you didn't research, you didn't work hard, you didn't go to the ground and find out what people really need, how they will impact, how to impact them. Again, I know there's some brands and some ideas that go viral and people make a lot of money, but people think this is how it is. It's not. This is 1% of the world. There's 99% that they need still to do a lot of work. I think you agree with me on this.
100%. I mean, I've been in the same business for 2 decades, 17 years, my whole life.
Yeah.
I don't know anything else. And how am I where I am? Just keep going.
Pushing.
That is, just keep finding a new way, finding a new solution, learning, taking in those learnings.
Exactly.
And slowly you're like, oh, okay, this is working.
Yeah. You need to learn.
Totally.
If you feel you learned everything already and you know everything already, this is the starting point of failure completely because you'll be miserable trying to find something, but your ego cannot help you to ask. This is the first point of reading going down.
So for leaders who are leading this Gen Z, what's the most important thing for them to note and teach?
You mean the leaders who are leading Gen Z? Okay. So first of all, but it's easier for us, right? Because we always used to study. We always used to learn. So you need to read about this generation, what they really like, what they feel, how they operate in life, what's their main goals, what's their main direction. For example, in my generation, let's say my mindset as a leader is based on purpose, right? It's not based on one goal and one dream only. Goals and dreams comes under purpose, right? So there's a clear purpose and there's goals and dreams that we achieve and move and continue. So we need to learn about the Gen Z, how they operate. What are their goals? What are their dreams? Do they have a purpose or not? And if they don't have a purpose, as a leader, you need to create a purpose for them and help them, create a purpose. I would say leading them is not easy because they give up so quick as well. They're not used to fight. They're used to the safe zone, right? We're used to fight. So how to teach them to fight in their mind or in their way, based on their generation, is not an easy task. So I would say, as a leader, number one, you need to study this generation very well, understand their mindset, how it works, and set a kind of a plan for them as well. Because you're a leader, you need to help them, you need to support them. Finding a purpose is very, very important. And then find out from these people who are really the ones that can be a leader moving forward as well. So you build a successor plan for them. And the other ones are executors. So also build another plan for them. Um, at the same time, number four, I would say, is to understand that they're different and they will never be the same like you. So you need to have a lot of patience as well to absorb the way they do things and understand that this is how they are. So you cannot change them, but you can direct them.
Love that. So how would you say your way of thinking has actually changed over the years of your career?
Oh my God, it changed a lot. It changed, it's drastically changed, I would say that. In the beginning, as I mentioned to you, in the beginning, it was the hype of being in a big organization, so lucky to be there. You start having some little bit of ego. Oh my God, I'm doing this, I'm getting my money, I'm spending left, right, and center, and so on, which is a lesson that you learn because you lose all your money very quickly as well, right? You spend left, right, and center, you don't make anything. But what I learned very clearly is that you have to always have a purpose and you always have to work hard. All these big organizations are based on a methodology that they set from the beginning, right? That's why they're lasting. All of them are over 30 years, right? All of them, correct? And even some of them are 50 and more. Based on a clear direction, clear strategy. They build a very clear foundation, and under that, they build the structure of it. The success that I learned from that is that you always need to have a legacy after you leave, right? So don't make things very condensed or let's say concentrated on you as the one man show, because once you leave, everything breaks, everything falls. So I changed my mind based on that as well. I learned that you're not the one man show. Number one thing in any of the business is one team. One team is very important because this is where you really grow. Through the years, as I mentioned, it was, let's say, 3 steps. In the beginning, the energy, the power, running left, right, and center, want to own the world, right? In the middle, in the 30s, again, I felt like, okay, it's all right. Let's try to take a breath. And that was the biggest mistake because actually, this is the wrong time to breathe. It's actually the right time to continue pushing. So my mind changed at that time because I did some mistakes, and I have to admit it, that put me down somehow. And I did some mistakes that didn't develop me faster, I would say. But the good thing is that the fighting spirit and the energy of the leadership that's inside by DNA put me back on track very quickly. And the last change or the third change in the 40s again, because you find out, okay, life is not only about running. You should have a strategy. And this strategy comes from your mind, not from anyone else. You have to focus on yourself. Everything else comes after that. And I always say it, you have to sell yourself to yourself first, right? So everyone is selling in a way, right? We're all salespeople, by the way, even if we don't recognize that. You're selling something. But the most important one to sell to is yourself. And you have to sell yourself to yourself. What I mean by that is that you need to know your strength. You need to know your power. You need to know your energy, where you put it. And also you need to know your weaknesses, right? The weak points that you have, the gaps, the drawbacks, whatever you call it. And the best person to grow is the person who knows these parts, because some people live and die and they don't know their weaknesses. They feel they're complete, and there's no one complete in this world. So selling yourself to yourself is understanding your weaknesses and be open to learn how to develop that and grow over that.
So do you still have days where you feel like shit?
Absolutely, for sure. I mean, but the difference is that before, you can feel it for a long time. Let's say, right? In 2015, for example, I had a very, very sad time in my life. I had a very big drop, personally and financially as well. I lost everything, let's say, correct? And that was the biggest thing happened to me, like the biggest failure, I would say. And it was my fault, nobody else, correct? It took me a while at that time to recognize that why I'm sad, actually, you know? And I figured out all of a sudden that I did all of that before. So it's again about me. I can do it again. And I can do it even much better. And this is what I'm doing right now. It's like, whatever happened before happened already. It's done. It's a mistake. Agree. You suffer. Agree. But don't stay long into this kind of feeling. Now, back to your question, it's quick. Yes, I have some days, but it takes not even days. It takes a couple of hours maximum that you feel really in that mood. Now you have a lot of experience to come back to yourself and understand it's all about you. You take a complete kind of long breathing, then you'll be okay.
Mm.
So the time span of feeling bad is much less than before. For sure, there's things out of your control, 100%. There's some family things and emotional stuff, but I'm talking about feeling really shit. No, it's you're strong enough to overcome that. It takes you a very short time. No, let's go fight.
Because you come across as very, very confident. And you say there, like, it's all about me. So this idea of like ownership and extreme responsibility. Would you say that in your years of experience that all leaders are actually narcissistic?
I love that question, by the way. Just to clarify, narcissistic means what? So, narcissist is not always a bad thing because the characteristics of a narcissist is something that drive a lot of very good things as well, right? It drives discipline, consistency, ownership, responsibility, power, planning, organized. You know, all of these characteristics are in narcissists because of what? Because narcissists like perfection. They're not narcissists for no reason. They are narcissists, especially on the leadership side, right? You're narcissist because you know what you're doing. You want it always to be on that level and beat it. You become narcissist as a leader because you compete with yourself. You don't compete with anyone else at the end, right? Think about it. As a leader, after reaching all this through all the years that you went step by step fighting, when you reach that level, you're competing with yourself. You're basically trying to grow people, not to grow anything about you anymore. I mean, for you, it's now another challenge that you beat your record. But for others, you're building people to grow beside you and they'll be successful like you. And that's the difference between a leader and a manager, anyways, right? The manager is a momental guy. He looks now, or she looks now, right? Leader looks have a vision. This year, 3 years, 5 years, and so on. So yes, some of the leaders are narcissists in a positive side. Correct? The same time, the negative side of it is that sometimes we're limited in the way we accept or tolerate stuff, right? So we have
Stubborn.
we're very stubborn. Yeah, I agree. I'm very stubborn. I
Yeah.
have my own boundaries, right? I don't tolerate any shit anymore because I don't accept it anymore. And I don't see a reason to accept it even, right? So why? Give me one reason to accept that. That can, for some people, can be considered a negative thing. But if you think about, if you put yourself in my shoes, you'll find he has a reason to have that, right?
Mhm.
Everybody's born with ego, right? And ego and narcissist are different things. But the ego based on content is something, it's deserved. Narcissist being on leadership after many, many years of working so hard, I will not say it's deserved, it's earned. Because again, of the positive side of the characteristics. The negative side, it's very proportional and it's very kind of an assumption, and I don't assume things in my life. So until you know the person, the leader, and talk to him or her properly and understand the way they think and understand their mindset, don't judge.
Agreed. Context is everything.
100%.
So why do you think this term narcissist has been thrown around and is thrown around now to basically describe anyone we don't like?
Because people now use to trend. That's it. They use anything as a trend, right? So there's some books about narcissist men, for example, in relationships. By the way, narcissist men, it doesn't mean they're bad people. It doesn't mean that they're bad in relationships. Yes, they have boundaries. Sorry, but if you're ready to be a queen and ready to be with a king, that's another level. If you just want to be someone with someone, continue. I mean, nobody can stop you. Everything based on the purpose, right? So people are using this word because it's a trend. Oh, he's a narcissist. She's a narcissist. Why did you break up with this person? Because he's a narcissist. Okay, what does it mean? Can you explain to me what does it mean? He have boundaries. Okay.
You didn't do what you wanted.
Okay, that's actually a good thing, by the way, if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's about how the person perceive it, how she perceive it. For example, if she's the female in the relationship, right? He's a narcissist. He wants to control. No, he provides you things, a lot of things. And he wants some payback, not in the material stuff, in the feelings, in the respect, in the appreciation part. That's not narcissist, actually. That's basically a gentleman who knows his boundaries, who knows what he wants to achieve in his life. He wants a partner, not a clown. And I'm sorry to say it this way, because that's the trauma of these days. All right. And again, some people, they think they want everything, right? They want everything. So again, back to this narcissist, because it's usually about relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
She wants a perfect man, successful, handsome, powerful, tall, whatever, right? All the beautiful characteristics. But at the same time, she wants to do everything. Okay, that doesn't work. Okay, that's not natural as well, right? You need a partner, or you want an image beside you. If you want an image, this is not your man, because narcissists are strong people, actually. They have power, they have character, they have identity, and they're strong, right? So they need the balance, okay? And by the way, just to let you know, the strong men, they always need strong women, but strong with her feminine energy, not strong that she wants to do everything in the world. At the same time, the image of the man is beside her. He's not an image, he's the king, and you can be a queen. Did I answer your question?
Yes, it did. It did. And so what's your personal views then on male-female relationships? I know you co-parent really successfully,
Yes,
which
thank
is
God.
it's amazing to hear
It's beautiful.
about your two kids.
It's beautiful.
And what have you learned through this journey for you personally?
First of all, the kids is a big blessing, that's for sure. I mean, it's a gift, and it's very interesting how you see them growing, and you find out that you, this small human being, created a life for them, right? And you get them to be natural, nice, amazing people that they can live the world and give to the world again, based on how they are raised and how beautiful their soul is. And by the way, beautiful soul is not anymore available all the time, right? It's very rare. So that part is very beautiful, that you raise kids and stuff like that. On the relationships itself, what you learn is that in any relationship, it's a negotiation. All right. So, and I always say in negotiation, you don't have an agreement, you have an alignment, correct? But in relationship with your other half, let's say, if you're a man and you're having the female side, you have to have an agreement. And this agreement have to be very clear. Because the problem that I'm facing right now, or most of the real men are facing right now, is that they are called as narcissists, right? Because they have their boundaries. They don't tolerate shit, right? They're very clear. They're very focused. They're successive. They are competitive. They go and fight. They go and hunt and so on, right? And this is something, by the way, beautiful. If you ask any female seriously, this is beautiful, correct? They don't say it in public anymore, but this is the reality.
I think we should be celebrating that, for sure.
Thank you. Exactly, right? So if you are this person, you need to have an agreement with the other side. Listen, we are here to build a relationship together because I need a partner. I don't need a girlfriend. I need a partner. She understands my values. She understands my ethics. She understands my direction. I will understand her emotional side. I'll understand her ideas in her mind, how she wants to grow, how she wants to develop, what's her view about life afterwards as well. So this is an agreement. And you need to be clear on that from the beginning, because the challenge I'm facing, or I'm seeing as well from my friends and so on, is that you start somewhere and then after a few months you end up somewhere completely different because people change. So change is acceptable, but not completely opposite. You know, we agreed on something, all right? You accepted to be with a strong man. So you need to live this life.
Yeah.
You need to agree on it. There's, I will not say sacrifice or all this bullshit, no, but there's common grounds.
And it's also understanding if you want to be with a strong man, then there's, should we call it downsides? There's going to be things that won't be as present.
100%.
But if that's important to you, so I mean, I'll talk about dating with you. I've dated artists and actors, and
Yeah.
you know, I'm going to archetype, right? And I'm now with a very successful entrepreneur. There's differences.
Absolutely.
Are we going to talk about emotions for 3 hours? No. Are we going to talk about emotions? Yes, because it's important.
For sure.
With the artist and actor, you'd get lost in it. You could talk about it for 3 days and you'd be like, can we do something practical?
It's based on that.
Exactly, because it's the lifeblood of their
And this is the agreement.
thing. Yeah.
And
so
this is exactly the agreement.
you choose.
It's a choice.
Yeah.
Right? It's a choice. But the challenge that people are facing right now is that they make the choice either very fast and then it comes with regret at the end, or they're not very clear.
Or they're not doing it consciously, aware.
Yeah, they're not aware about really who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And the challenge also that you see, Sarah, across the board, people are not coming with luggage, right? So they have a trauma from another relationship. They have clicking points that once you do that, you're a bad person. No.
Yeah.
Actually, that's the right thing.
Yeah.
But you have a bad experience with it from another person. That's not my problem, right? This is your trauma. So clean up before you enter a relationship. Be very clear. They talk about we have our own walls, right? When you have your own walls and this man put effort to remove these walls, help him. Support him to remove the walls, right? If you're really clear from the beginning that you want that, it's not a trial and error. This is so bad because the relationship is based on energy, right? And you know very well, females in general, they get the energy from different things, including the makeup, including the dress, the shoes, many different. Men, they get the energy from women. As simple as that, okay? Other than our sports and stuff, but like real energy is the feminine energy that you get because you're masculine, you're always fighting. You do many things differently, right? So you get the feminine energy. If you don't get that, you don't need a relationship, right? And if the other part believing that she can try, and then afterwards, no, he's too strong, he's too controlling, he's too blah, blah, blah. All these trendy words again, he's too narcissist, okay? These are so trendy words that's not real. The problem is not the person, the problem is you. Because you are not clear from the beginning that you want a real life. You want everything. Be clear that you want something and go for it.
So do you think men shouldn't get married till they're 40?
No, I don't think so. I think if you find the real agreement from the beginning, because I don't want to put a rule on that, right? Definitely you're more wise. You're more clear. So when you take such a decision, it's for the longer term. And you know, the generation is different, right? Our families and stuff were very different. And that they marry in very early stage and they stay forever until they both leave. But at the same time, in our generation, I think no. I think it's not a must or it's not a rule. It's preferably, I would say, right? And at the same time, you need to choose also a girl or a lady that have some maturity in her mind. And in women, it's different. The maturity is not about age in women. I believe that at least, right? So you can be 30, you can be 33, but you're already mature, right? You can be 30. I don't want to mention age in general, but it's not about age. It's not like men. Men is a little bit more on the age side. You go through the experience, you're more mature, you're more clear, you're more stable as well, right? Because stability is very important for man. And he gets it from, as I mentioned, feminine energy, respect, appreciation, and that's it. He will not ask you for anything else. And he actually don't ask you for these as well. It's just he expect it by default. Women expect something different, right? So if the person finds his other half before 40 and she's mature enough to understand that this agreement is for life, get married, for sure. If it didn't happen, wait. Because it's a big decision. It's not a small decision. It changed your life completely. This is the reality. And again, why I'm saying changing your life? Because I'm talking from the perspective of a real man, that he's responsible, he's accountable. So he will not finish things and just drop it. He will continue give, he will continue support, he will continue lead in a way, even if he's from distance, right? So yes, find a mature person, get married, preferably after some more experience, I would say.
So so you said, I love what you said about relationships and that every relationship is a negotiation.
It is.
What do you think is the biggest thing to negotiate in romantic relationships?
Um, every big person in general, they have the brain and they have the heart. You need to negotiate the hardest distance that you cross in your life. You know what's the hardest distance you cross in
What's
your life?
that?
From here to here. If you negotiate that with your partner properly from the beginning, which means if you tell me something, I take it from here and it comes here, you lock it. That's what I mean. So you keep it inside. This is the best negotiation that you can have. If you're the person, if you're the other side and you're taking the information and it goes from here and then it flies out, then the negotiation didn't work. Because once you pass it from here to here, then it goes to the heart. Did you get me?
Yeah.
That's very important. And what you negotiate in romantic relationships is an agreement of how are we exchanging our energy. You don't put it in paper, but you set the rules, let's say. And rules doesn't mean bad thing, by the way. Rules means how our rules of engagement is. What are we doing together? How our lifestyle will be. How our day and night will be. Are you accepting to be with a busy person, right? Are you accommodating that? Because sometimes, yeah, in the beginning, okay, it's no problem at all. But after 2 months, oh my God, you're not giving me attention, and so on, correct? That's negotiation. All of these are negotiations, right? So the most important thing is to negotiate your real agreement with the other party that you are trying to build a relationship with. And that's not a paper negotiation and is not a physical kind of negotiation, but it's a mental negotiation, as I mentioned, right?
And wouldn't you say it's ongoing too? You know, in terms of, I saw this quote the other day that said, the person you marry, you should realize it's going to be the person that you have the longest conversation with, this ongoing conversation. Are you happy to keep talking and communicating to this person? And that's part of the art of negotiation, isn't it? It doesn't just stop with a full stop, but it's saying, hey, we're going to come back here, or, you know, it's a dance.
Look, it's first of all, relationship is a partnership, right? And in any partnership, you need to negotiate. And it is a long lasting negotiation because what you're negotiating for is not to win, it's to agree, right? So in business negotiation, you need to win. But in relationship negotiation, you need to agree. And that's a very, as you mentioned, it's a long term if you agree. The problem happens when you agree on something and then someone break the agreement, correct? So that's failing negotiation. In the real life, as you mentioned, and back to your quote, it's a long-term agreement. And it's a long-term negotiation. You actually negotiate every day in a way, right? Because the most person you talk to in your life is yourself first, correct? If you choose a partner, this will be the second person that you need to talk to. And you need to be comfortable to talk to this person forever. And that's not easy.
Yeah.
Think about why people drop relationships when they start talking to someone outside of their relationship. That's the main point of failure in negotiation. Because what happened is you start negotiating with someone else and they start exactly chit chatting, blah, 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 he or she, and da, da, da. Now you put a third party in the negotiation.
That was never in there.
That was never on the table, right? He or she doesn't know what's happening. You don't know even their intentions as well. Are they really love you? Are they jealous? Are they comfortable? Do you want to take your person actually instead? Because I saw it myself a lot. It's a lot of things that you don't need. Basically, you're putting another person in the negotiation, a third party that have very different energy and not part of the agreement anyways. So what you're doing is you're creating a conflict. You're not fixing a problem.
So do you have the hard and fast rule, or would you have the hard and fast rule that you shouldn't talk to anyone outside of the relationship about your relationship?
100%. It's a rule, and I think it's a basic rule. I don't even need to mention it, to be very honest. I think it's basic rule because, as I mentioned to you, no one outside of this relationship will know what's happening. Even if you explain for an hour, they don't live with you 24 hours. everything. And it's again the same thing as you see on the movies and everyone, right? You're watching a movie for 1 hour, correct?
Mm-hmm.
But what's happening behind? It's a lot of things. It's 24 hours, correct? Every hour is 60 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and every minute is 60 seconds, and so on. So this is another life. You cannot share it with anyone. It will not work.
So what do you think about women who, women like to talk?
Oh
right?
my God, I know that.
They love to chit chat. They love to talk. And a lot of the time will come up the topics of who are you dating or what are you
The partner.
seeing? So what do you think about that then for women? If that's more of a natural instinct.
They can still do that, right? But there's a limitation, correct? There's some restrictions, I would say. For sure, women, they love it, right? There's a lot of talking. Oh, look at this, what he did, he's like bad today, he's good today, whatever. He got me this present. He took me for this beautiful dinner. Oh my God, he saw something I like, he brought for me. This is okay. That's not relationship. This is some comments on relationship, which is totally acceptable, right? But don't talk about feelings and emotions. Don't talk about conflicts that you guys have. Don't talk about problems that you think it's a problem, which can be actually not a problem, for example, right? Because if you have a problem with someone, sort it with this someone.
Mm-hmm.
Don't involve someone else's opinion, because this opinion is based on nothing. It's based on someone talking, right? So I would say talk, enjoy it, have fun about it. We accept it. We don't have a problem with that.
You're aware of it. Yeah.
We're very much aware about that because we know it's not something new. But don't go deep. Don't involve the parts of your agreement. Don't put it on the table in front of other people.
And I think anyone who I've spoken to who has long-standing marriages and relationships, they say in success. So I mean, they're financially successful. They've got a family as well. They say the same thing.
100%.
Because it's that perspective that other person can't then erase.
No way.
So if you go back and you say, oh, but then he did this and it was all fine and we sorted it out, all they can remember is the hour or the 2 hours that you offloaded.
You're crying, you're complaining, you're struggling and so on. And then they don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things behind the scene, I would say, that nobody will know except these two people. Look, they sleep in the same bed. Okay? There's a lot of things that happen there. I mean, in general, right? That's not for sharing. And no one from outside will understand that. They're curious to know, but they will never know.
Yeah. So do you think women are better negotiators than men?
Women have the advantage of their presence, I would say, right? So in general, when women enter a negotiation, she have the credit of being beautiful, right? And that's part of negotiation, by the way, because when I teach even people how to negotiate, you need to look good, you need to look smart, you need to smell fresh. All of this is part of power, right? I said there's 5 P's of negotiation, and we can talk about it later, but one of them is the power part, right? And the power comes from the presence as well, right? So women, their presence, I mean, if they are,
good looking.
Yeah, if they are good and stuff, so they come across with power already. So that gives a little bit of credit, right? The challenge of the women in negotiation is that they like to talk a lot. And the main rule of negotiation is actually to listen a lot. So that's kind of a conflict that I would say in this part. So they have some credit, but they also have something that they need to learn, which is silence. And that's quite hard.
I definitely need to improve in that area. I would class myself as a good negotiator, but I'm listening and I'm going, yeah, I can definitely brush up on
true.
that. It's very true.
Because when you listen more, you are more in control. You're more in power. And the person in front of you in negotiation are...
Well, they're giving you everything, can't
everything. I call it the throw up, right? They throw up information to you. And this is give you a lot of time to process, analyze, and then respond back. So yes, they have an advantage as women, but they need to learn how to control the silence part.
That's wonderful. So let's go to those 5 P's of negotiation then. What are they?
So first of all, perception, right? So perception is very important in negotiation, right? And we need to be perceived as a powerful person when you negotiate. Planning is very, very important. If you don't plan anything before you go to negotiation, you're losing already. What I mean by that is when you enter the room, you need to know what your outcome should be. And you need to put it as a plan B, even if plan A doesn't work, what's plan B? You need to learn how to walk away at a point of time, because this is part of the negotiation. If you continue negotiation all the time without walking away moment, you're basically losing. Power is very important. Perception is very important. Planning is very important. Purpose is very important, because purpose, as I mentioned as well, is one of the 5 P's, and it's based on what is your purpose of this negotiation. If you hire me to negotiate on your behalf, correct? What's my purpose? People think negotiation is a win-win, correct? You hear this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree on that at all. And the way I learned it is completely different as well, because I don't negotiate for win-win. I negotiate for you to win. What I will say, I will make the person in front of me feeling that he's winning as well. But I don't give a shit about him, with all respect, right? I care about you. You are the one who hired me to negotiate. So the win is in my side, which is your side. Everything else is just a perception, right? So he get it as a perception that, okay, I'm winning as well. So these kind of P's, as I mentioned, are super, super important, because people think negotiation is just something that you just learn. It's an art. It includes tactics. It includes strategies. It includes learning. It includes breathing, right? So I believe people need to learn first, because everybody say I'm a good salesman, right? What is sales actually? It is actually negotiation. It's based on negotiation at the end. The moment you enter any room and you're trying to sell something, if you don't study the person in front of you before you enter, you're not selling the right product for him. Because if you're selling the right product, it's based on his gap, his pain, what he really needs, and so on. That's sales, and that's negotiation.
And it's the understanding of people.
And 100% is people. So this is negotiation as well. Correct or no?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I believe that people need to learn all the 5 P's to be able to understand that when you enter somewhere, you're ready for it. You're really ready to negotiate. You're really ready to sit down and negotiate. Without purpose, without planning, without perception, without power, you are not somewhere. You're not reaching this. You are just talking, but you're not negotiating.
So what's the difference between manipulation and negotiation?
Manipulation is basically trying to win without a fact. So you're putting an illusion or imaginary something in somebody's mind, right? So you're manipulating to win emotionally, right? Negotiation doesn't include emotions at all.
Really?
At all. You need to control your emotions. You need to make sure that emotions is out of this. I did something recently in one of my speeches. I brought someone on stage, and it's an act basically. And I did like a negotiation act for like 5 minutes, and I asked the 3 audience to negotiate to release him. I took him as a kidnap, right? So I kidnapped him. So as a
FBI
hostage,
style.
yeah, as a hostage, seriously.
Yeah.
And I said, like, okay, negotiate with me to release him, right? All of them, they went with emotion.
Crying
He's
or
a nice
pleading.
guy, please.
Wow.
Oh my God, no, he needs to eat, he
Fascinating.
needs to drink.
Doesn't matter.
The 5th P, because I was forgetting it actually, and I remember positioning. Everybody forget to position. Why are you actually here to negotiate? That's positioning, right? So the first thing you need to do is to position yourself. I'm here to negotiate on behalf of Sarah to get 1, 2, 3. That's position. You set your position in the beginning, the table understanding. Everybody knows that you're coming here with a very strong mindset. You're very clear about what you're doing. You position yourself. Correct? No emotions. Emotions does not involve in any negotiation. Once the other party is emotional, this is where you start to win immediately. Because emotions are the easiest thing to talk about and the easiest thing to come out, by the way. Controlling this emotion is power. And I'm not saying it's easy, huh? I'm saying it's very tough. And by the way, even I have a lot of, there's a big side of me, which is emotional. People doesn't know it for sure because I look very aggressive, but that's not reality. There's emotional part. But controlling this emotion, it took a long time to learn. It's not easy, especially with the kind-hearted people. Because they just come out as emotional, like because they're passionate,
Mm-hmm.
right? They just have a passion that they want to deliver the
Expressive.
message. So when they don't find the way on putting it in a tactic, they start putting the emotions on the table. You put the emotions on the table, you lose.
But then aren't you a motivational speaker? Doesn't that play on emotion?
100%.
So when you're motivational speaking, negotiation is off the table.
Totally.
Different.
I'm not negotiating. Basically, when I'm motivating someone, I'm trying to play with their mindset and play in a good way, I mean, right? So to change their mindset, to shift their mindset. That's not emotional, actually. That's more of a mindset. It's a big thing. But I'm not negotiating with you. I'm telling you what to do. It's very different. I'm not trying to win here. I'm trying to make you win. So I'm not negotiating, actually. I'm giving you something. I'm sharing with you something. But you have to be ready for it. You have to be ready to accept it, right? Motivation changes, right? Motivation, and I do a lot of motivation in speeches, in trainings, and so on. But motivation changes. If you don't have a purpose, motivation can die. Because listen, you can wake up, you have a motivation, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you can wake up one day tired. There's no motivation, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Even if I tell you, stand in front of the mirror, speak to yourself for 10 minutes, I'm strong, I'm powerful, oh my God, nobody can beat me. Still, you're not feeling good, right? The purpose is the one that will make you move, not the motivation.
So motivation works on purpose.
100%.
Yeah.
Motivation, because it change. Purpose doesn't change.
Mm-hmm.
Purpose is there, right? You have a purpose. I wake up this morning because I have a purpose, correct? I'm tired, I still have the purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay, I'm still have the purpose. I don't have energy, I still have the purpose. Purpose is something. Motivation is to drive you to reach something, correct? Is to give you some more within kind of motivation. But if you don't have the purpose, motivation will not work.
So do you think, coming back to the Gen Z conversation we had, would you describe this generation as more feeling and emotion led? Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And they're visually, emotionally attached
Mm.
because everything is about what they see, not what they feel. My generation is about feeling, about touching, It's like, the languages of love, of touch, and so on. We follow that. We touch, we feel, physical. For them, it's all visual. Because what you do is you open whatever app you're using, Snapchat, TikTok, and so on, without naming anything, but it's all visual. So you're emotionally, visually attached. Correct? Imagine how they feel when the internet is down.
Life is over.
It's finished. It's totally finished. So this is emotional. It's not any more power. It's not strong. It's not strength. It's not purpose. It's all emotion. It's all about, they get motivated from seeing something because they want to replicate it. Correct? They see a dance, for example, and they want to do the same dance. That's kind of motivational, emotional side. But what's your purpose of watching anyways?
So are we losing our roots and are we losing that sense of purpose?
Unfortunately, it's true. Unfortunately, it's a yes. I mean, I cannot deny that part. Because here comes the value of people who are leading these people or who are guiding these guys in the Gen Z, right? If you have someone to guide you, to help you, to mentally go a little bit down to understand you first and then direct you, you're lucky. If you don't have, we're losing the roots for sure because nobody guide you. And that's why you see very weird and strange accidents and incidents happening. And you think like, what is that? From where is this coming? It's so strange how they come with the idea from the visual. And nobody's, I would not say monitoring and stuff. And I'm not into this kind of approach. But you need to guide still. You need to direct.
Yeah.
And you need to go down to their level to understand. If you push, they will not ever listen to you.
Yeah.
But you need to come to a common ground together and understand they think different. They see things different. Kids right now, they can start doing PowerPoints when they are already like 9 years, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Correct? That's a blessing for them. But what you will do with that is another thing, how to help them, to direct them to do that. So as I said always, they have the access to everything, but the usage is the gap. So yes, we can use the routes very easy if there is no support.
And in a place like Dubai, you know, this is an interesting conversation and thought to have. Have you found this place more vacuous and fake?
Look, absolutely. And I will say it in a very blunt way, right? It's not the problem of the place, it's the problem of the people. Again, so it's very unfair to say that the place itself is fake, right? Everybody say it on that way. But the reality is the problem is the people. What are they expecting from the place? Why they're coming here actually, right? Why they are leaving everything behind and moving to this place? Because of the fake identity that they get here. Everybody's rich, everybody's beautiful, everybody have a lot of money. Is that a problem of Dubai? No. It's the problem of people who are talking about it or people who are acting like this, because that's not actually real at all. A lot of people leave their places and come here and they don't have a job, they don't have money, and they think that once they land, everything is sorted. That's not true. And it will never be true, because who are you? I mean, like, why are you expecting that and why are you assuming that this will happen? Never assume. You need to understand that. But yes, to answer you, it is 90% of it is fake people, because they live the illusion, they're feeling that this will make them better than others, which means you're not competing with yourself.
But don't you think that Dubai is kind of as a place, or have they structurally played on this? You know, I think about being in the UK and you look at the media there and how many millions of people are leaving in abundance, and it's more and more every year. They're buying into some level of illusion. Like, is that not the state that's created that or allowed it?
Yes, the design is made to make it look simple. Okay? Because the reality is you live here, the utilities is very easy, services is very strong. You get 24/7 things that you want. Your food is delivered in less than 12 minutes, right?
It's cheaper than a lot of places in like the UK
definitely
and stuff.
cheaper
Yeah.
as well. So there's a lot of things that makes it look like perfect condition to do. Correct? So definitely the system, the design, the infrastructure is based on this kind of thing. But is that available for everyone? No. You need to have some identity, you need to have some work, you need to have some plan to use that service and to have it in free as well, right? Everything is for a price at the end. Correct? People move and they have all this illusion of, we're going there, we're going to Dubai, everything is perfect, we will have crazy money. How? Tell me how. Tell me, what did you do to have crazy money? Are you going to work hard, or are you going to spend your life on a beach club? Okay? Are you working only as, I don't want to mention jobs, but you know the jobs here, right? You know the names of the jobs here that 90% of people are saying, oh, I'm working in this job. Okay, that means you don't have a work. All right? So just don't pretend things. Yes, system is designed based on that, but again, it's not the problem of the system. It's the problem of the users, the people who use the system or live in the illusion of everything is perfect here. No, it's not. One of the hardest places to have relationships is actually here, because everybody wants something from somebody. Not everyone wants to do something with someone. I'll ask you a very simple question. The normal 2 questions you get in Dubai for the first time you meet someone anywhere. Where are you from? What do you do? Correct?
Correct.
It's a very common question. Did anybody ask you, who are you?
No.
No one. Because they don't care.
Or like if you're back home, they might say, how is your family? No,
Nothing. It's all business driven. It's all about an agenda. It's all about taking. Nothing giving. If I ask you, who are you? It's very deep. Correct? Because you need to think about it. Actually, this question is the question that if you ask me, I will think, that's not an easy to answer, correct? But what do you do and where are you from? Basically, what you're doing is that you're squaring someone based on their religion, on their ethnicity, because of the country and so on, and how much money they make. Then, okay, I can take money from you. I can use this. I can use that. Or, oh my God, your background is not What is that? Okay, that's part of the fakeness that we have. Is this a problem of the place or the system? No, it's the problem of people. Nobody talk to you as a person. Nobody talk to you as, who are you? who are you really? I want to get to know you, not to know what you do and where you're from, and then I leave you. That's
And the thing is, the truth of getting to know someone is it takes time.
100%.
And people here are so fast moving, and it can be, you know, they're here 1 month and not the next. And
It's
to
true.
build those sort of relationships, it takes time.
It needs practice, right? As anything in the world. You build foundation and then you start building the building, correct? If we don't meet based on who, after 1 month, we'll never talk again because we don't care. You'll even forget the person.
You know,
And you forget the person anyways. You
Yeah.
forget the name, right?
Yeah.
Look at your contact list in Dubai on the phone. Thousands of people. Based on our business, I
Yeah,
mean, right?
for sure.
We meet a lot of people everywhere.
all
and so
people, yeah.
thousands of people. When you look at the name, do you remember the name? No. It's very hard to remember people because the real people you remember are the people who you built something with them. Not you met them for a drink and that's it. Not you met them in a business or an event or a networking event, because networking is very important. I'm not against it at all. People say it's very important. I totally agree. But what kind of networking? Okay. Will it really be something that you will build something based on it? Is it really mutual or is it just give and take? If it's give and take, this is not networking. This is transactional relationship. And transactional relationships never last. It's just transactional, right? It's the same when you tap, right?
Yeah.
Done, finished. It's a receipt. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
And so if someone's considering moving to Dubai, listening to this, what do you think is the biggest thing that they need to negotiate coming here?
They first negotiate their survival for the first 6 months. That's very important. If somebody is moving here and they don't know what they will have to be safe, secure, have accommodation, transportation, food, all of this is secured for at least 6 months, don't move.
So you mean have that money in the bank, have done your research, understand what you need, where you're going.
Exactly. And at the same time, in parallel, you have to secure a job. You have to secure a job. So within this 6 months, you should be already employed and passing your, training, onboarding, probation, whatever you call it, so that by the end of the 6 months, you're really actually in a stable place. What happened here is that everybody just move.
Yeah.
They take their luggage and then just come. And then you end up for a lot of people, they don't know how to pay the rent. They don't know where to sleep. They don't know how to eat. They don't know what to do. They're very scared to go back because it's a failure, right? It's a failure. You created that failure because you didn't study. You didn't learn. You followed only visual again, right? So you didn't do planning for yourself. You just followed an image. Oh, it's so beautiful. Yes, it is beautiful. Nobody can deny that. It's beautiful. It's modern. It's new. It's clean. It's amazing, right? But can you afford it?
Agreed.
Can you afford it? If you cannot afford that and you have safety for literally minimum 6 months, don't step a foot here.
I think it's a great lesson in business and life, isn't it? Just to observe for a little bit longer, not to jump too soon, not to follow the trends, not to listen to somebody else, but to observe and really observe.
Some people don't fit, correct? And if you think about the most successful people actually in Dubai, they always travel, right? Because it's not complete. And no place is complete, right? You need to know that, for example, in the summer, no, I will go back to a place I want to see green. I want to see water. I want to see stuff like that. It's normal. It's not a bad thing. But how you know that if you don't observe, as you mentioned, if you don't study where you're going, right? People believe that the ultimate scenario is to be here and that's it. That's not true, right? To get the best out of this place, you need to study it first. You need to learn about it. You need to learn the rules. You need to learn the culture. You need to learn how many fines you can get of doing wrong things as well, right?
There might not be tax, there's fines, guys.
That's what I'm saying. There's no taxation, but there's fines, right? On many things, right?
Yeah, and high fines. Yeah.
And I totally agree on it, by the way, right? You need to accept it. You need to know what you should do and what you shouldn't do as well, culturally as well. When you enter the mall, you need to know what to dress up, for example, right? That's respect. You need to respect the place you're going for before feeling that you will take something out of it. You never take something out of someone without giving, right? So if you're giving your energy, you're giving your understanding, you're giving your brain, you're giving your rules, advices, and so on, all of this is a giving after studying, then you'll get back. Without all of this, and you just want to jump and, oh my God, you see a lot of stories when people come here without any of this, and they end up in a very bad place because they want to break the rules. They want to live without place. They want to do things that's wrong. It's not matching the place. The rulers of this city and this country in general are so smart. And God bless them, they're amazing, right? They build a system that's very comfortable. But to be comfortable, you need to be applicable and accommodating also what's happening here. So yes, study, learn, observe, and then see if you fit or not. And you know, what's just funny as well, some people, after they leave here and they go back, they start saying bad things about the place. It's not the problem of the place. You are the problem. You want to do something wrong, for sure. Because here, it's very fair. It's very fair. You give, you take. You respect, you get respect back. You appreciate, you get appreciation back. Correct? I'm not saying it's perfect, but I'm saying this is exactly the rules of it. And that's why, because it's designed as a system. Everybody knows here that you break the rule, you get fined immediately. There is no tolerance, correct? If you know all of that and you're ready to give, you'll get back for sure. But don't try to do something wrong completely, and because you live the dream in your brain, and then when you go back, you say, oh, this is very bad. It's bad because you make it bad. As any place, by the way, if you're moving to New York, right? If you don't understand how it works, you will fail. And you'll go back and say, oh, taxation is very high, they are racist, whatever you will say, right? But the reality is about you again. You didn't plan. You didn't understand. You didn't do some effort before you step your foot in a place and understand it. So it's not only about Dubai. That's what I believe.
Well, Don, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on here. I could literally keep talking. Like, I've enjoyed today so much. Maybe we'll have to do round 2 at some point.
We'll definitely do round 2.
Yeah.
100%. And I really, really mean it as well. I enjoyed it a lot. It was so easy, smooth, comfortable. Thank you for this.
Thank you. And if our listeners want to connect with you and learn more about what you do, follow your work, where should they go?
I will pass you my website and they can drop me a note. And I'm very happy to support anyone who needs the support, but you need to be ready for it.
Yeah. I mean, I think we can see that from today.
Yeah.
You mean business.
I mean business.
I love this. Well, thank you so much, Dom.
Thanks a lot, Sarah. Thank you so much. And for the second round. Appreciate it. Thank you.